Hello, everybody. Welcome to our third session of STEAM Saturday. I'm Miss Monica from the Glenwood branch of the Howard County Library System. I'm here with Miss Becky, who's working behind the scenes to make this class possible. Thank you, Miss Becky. I am so excited to be back here again. It is January, so Happy New Year. This is our first segment of the new year. And STEAM Saturday is a Howard County Library System class. And this is where we explore science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics, all with fun activities and science experiments and things that you can do at home. We try really hard to use things that you have at home, so you don't need to go out and get anything. Also, I want to remind you that this class is recorded. So if you need to press pause and you need to go get some of the supplies or equipment that we're using and follow along, that's fine. Or if you just want to pause it and re-listen to something, you can do that too. So it's kind of exciting. So today we're going to talk a little bit about food science, and we're going to utilize math with cooking, which is also food science. And I know that it's 2021 and it's the start of a new year. And a lot of us like to try to start the new year eating healthy. And I do too. And I also like to try new foods. Some of you might be really good about trying new foods, and some of you might be a little bit apprehensive about trying new foods. So I want to introduce some fun ways to incorporate new food and math into cooking. So today we're going to start with a very quick, healthy snack that you can enjoy at home and make at home. And you can use your awesome counting skills, your awesome math with the snack. So I'm going to pull my, hopefully you guys can see, okay? There we go. These we called, always when I was little, ants on a log. What they are cut pieces of celery, and you can just spread either some peanut butter or almond butter, or if you like cream cheese better, or if you're allergic to peanut butter, you could try hummus. Take a knife and you spread that. And then these are just little raisins, and you just place the raisins on the peanut butter, stick them down, try to see if you can get 10 raisins on each of your celery sticks, or call the raisins ants, and put them on a log like so. And that's a great healthy snack. Nice with if you use a nut butter, that you have some protein with it as well. That's one of our favorite snacks. Another thing I want to teach you about today is measuring. So we love to cook at my house. Raise your hand if you like to cook at your house. Oh, I'm so glad so many of you are in the kitchen already and cooking. That's great. And if you're not, I hope to see you soon being in the kitchen and helping out. So cooking involves a lot of math, whether you know it or not, and it involves a lot of fractions. So have you learned fractions yet? Some of you have, some of you haven't. That's okay. But by starting to cook at a young age, you can incorporate math and fractions into your everyday world. So we're going to start with some measurements. So I have to start with, these are just the things that you are going to need. I just have a small bowl of something I can measure. And in my bowl today are beans, just dried beans. They're good to practice with for your measuring for your dry ingredients, just because if you do spill them, they're pretty easy to pick up. But other things that you could try to use is like pasta or rice, if you have those. But when we talk about dry ingredients, we talk about anything that's a solid that you can see. And I would say they're things that aren't so hard to clean up when they spill. How about that? But there are things like normally in a recipe that you'd be measuring would be like flour, sugar, like I said, rice, pasta, brown sugar, maybe some vegetables cut up, or potatoes cut up, or fruit cut up in a recipe. And they usually call for cup sizes. So they'll say 1 cup, half cup, fourth cup, a third of a cup. And you want to use measuring cups like this. They usually come in a set. Sometimes they're metal, like the ones that I have. Sometimes they're ceramic, sometimes they're plastic. Whatever ones you have are perfectly fine. But you'll see on them, I'm going to pull this is the full cup size. And you'll see on usually the handle, I don't know if you can see that. I think you can. It says 1 cup. So this is a full cup of an item. Then we have half cup. Hopefully I'm holding that the right way. And it's on the handle as well. So half cup means it's half of the size that's in here. So if I was going to put a cup and I wanted to divide it to 2 people, it would be half and half. So 2 equal parts would make the 2 halves. But sometimes recipes, you only need a half a cup. So that's why it's nice that you have this smaller size to measure in. They also come in a third of a cup. So if you guessed it right, 3 of these would be equal to 1 of these. And then last but not least, we have a quarter cup, which is 1/4. Quarter is the same thing as 1/4. So you can see right there, okay? And you can see this is a lot smaller than this. Do you see the size? So what this means is if you measured 4 of this size, it would fit into this, into the cup, okay? So when you're playing around with this and you're measuring it, you want to just put your item in the cup. Like I said, I'm using beans today. This is like great practice if you haven't measured before to practice with, but you can see how this is kind of overflowing. Usually you want to make sure, I'm going to pat it down a little bit. You want to make sure that it's level at the top, especially when you're doing flour, sugar, something like a little more finer, just to make sure that you get the exact amount. Because if you have it way over, that's obviously more than a cup. And if you did it way under, like if it didn't go all the way to the top, it would be less than 1 cup. So recipes usually are, it's pretty important to measure correctly so that they turn out right. So this is 1 cup, but like I said, at home, play around with this. This is a half cup. So let's practice with this. Fill this up, half. Kind of leisure. You can also use a knife to lever. I level something off. I've washed my hands, so it's okay to touch these. And you know, if your grown-up is okay with you using some beans and just practicing, they might not want to cook with them later. That's okay, just because you are touching them. But so this is the half cup size, and this is the cup. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour the half cup in, and so you can see it doesn't fill it up. It's half the way. So now I'm going to take another, and you can just scoop this. You don't have to use your scooper. I'm going to fill it up, and look at that. See, science is magic. So is math. See, fills it all the way up. So you could do the same thing for a third of a cup or a fourth of the cup. Like we can fill it up. I'm just going to scoop it. You can fill it up 3 times. There's one. You can see it's not very filled up. There's a second one. Still not very filled up. And there's a third, 1/3. Okay, so that would make 3/3, which would make a cup. There we go. Okay, so play around with your measuring with your dry ingredients. It's super fun, and then you're ready to bake or cook, make some healthy dishes, maybe for dinner for your family. The other thing I wanted to show you with dry ingredients is, especially when we're talking about spices, or maybe I know sometimes my recipes call for olive oil, and you don't need a lot of those things. You just need a tablespoon or a teaspoon, it will say, or obviously half tablespoon or half teaspoon. So these are pretty standard recipe measurements for those types of ingredients. So they come in a set like this. I'm just kind of fanning them out. This is a set, and they come connected. You can unconnect them. I have one set that's unconnected. So I just use one at the time, but these are what you would use for those type of ingredients, like I said, like spices. And they come in a tablespoon size, which sometimes when you see in a recipe, it'll be abbreviated with a capital T. I always remember big T, big tablespoon when I cook. I learned it that way as a child, and I still remember it that way to this day. So there's the tablespoon, and you can see that's the biggest of all of them. Then we have a teaspoon, which is smaller. And 3 teaspoons make 1 tablespoon, okay? So, and then you have, so this is actually, you'll see this sometimes, and I always have to double think this, but if they ask for a half tablespoon, it would be the same as 1.5 teaspoons. There's some really neat little charts online too that give you the equivalent of each. I have one of those printed out in my kitchen, and I can refer to it really quickly. So like half teaspoon, 4th teaspoon. And some of them come with this 8th teaspoon. So the 8th teaspoon would mean that there are 8 of these in one of the teaspoons. We're going to take the tablespoon out here, put this down, okay? So when a recipe calls for 1/2 teaspoon of maybe cinnamon or nutmeg, you would use that one. When I make chili, it always calls for 2 teaspoons of chili powder. So I would use this one and I would do it twice. And same with these, you want to level them off, make sure they're not overflowing or underfilled so that your recipes turn out. So you can see, in this one, I do take a knife, pretend my finger's a knife, and I just shave it across. And I always make sure that my spices go back into the bottle. I just don't like to waste them. So you can practice with that too with your beans, scooping them out, making sure they're level. You could do that as well. Lots of fun. And again, we are doing lots of math here, but it's fun. So math is always fun, but especially when you cook. So next, I want to show you this. This one that I have is glass, so we want to be really careful with this. We don't want to drop it. I want to put it on my countertop. But when you have liquid, such as water, milk, maybe if you have more quantities of oil in your recipe, you want to be able to measure it, and you don't want to use one of the cups that I just showed you. You want to use this kind of measuring cup. And you can see, I don't know if you can see here, on the side, it has the measurement. See how the 1 is kind of highlighted? That's 1 cup. And you can see that the 2, you can see that, the 2 is highlighted. So that's 2 cups. So this is a 2-cup measuring cup. I've seen them in 3 and 4. We also have some smaller ones that are just 1 cup. I tend to like the 2-cup just because I can do up to 2, which is pretty standard for things. We like to make our own bread at our house, so we have to make sure that the water is measured very, very accurately and correctly. So we use our measuring cups like these a lot for bread making. But you can see the fractions are right there: 1/2 cup, 1/4 cup, 1/3 cup, 2/3 of a cup, and 3/4 of a cup. So it's the same exact thing as our metal or dry ingredient cups like I just showed you. It's just in a form of this so that you can measure liquid materials. So you can see here, I also have, this one's a little bit older, but I love this cup. It's plastic, so you might have a plastic measuring cup like this, and that's fine too. I noticed that the plastic ones, the numbers kind of wear off. These can too on the glass, but I still love this cup. So I just kind of use this. I put some water in it. Again, you can do this at home and you can practice measuring before you start cooking and baking, just so that you get the hang of how to measure your ingredients. So this is just water. And for this one, I'm just gonna pour a cup. So I always put my measuring cup on a flat surface like your counter. And I'm going to, before I start pouring, I'm gonna look to see where that 1 cup mark is so that I know when to stop when it's getting close to that when I'm pouring. And pouring is a skill too to learn how to do. Some of our younger listeners would be great to practice pouring things as well. And then you can get your own cup of juice or milk or water when you want something to drink as well. So let's see. So some of the older listeners probably know how to pour. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this, and I'm going to get it right up to that 1 line, the line for 1 cup. And you can see I'm pouring it really slowly. And let's see. So there's that. You see it, it's kind of moving because I picked it up like so. Okay, and that's how you pour, and you measure liquid and dry ingredients. So I'm gonna pour this to see if I have, how much I have in this. This is another thing I could do, is I could practice how much water I put in 1 cup. There's 1 1/2. Okay, I needed a little bit more. I'm gonna put that up there. Try to steady it so you can see it. You just wouldn't want it, like if I wanted 1 1/2, I'm gonna show, I don't know if you can see it. And I just put a little bit more, and that's almost 2 cups. And if your recipe is calling for 1 1/2, you wanna make sure that you would take some of that out. So I would just, pour that out, put it down again, and it's still a little bit over 1 1/2. So I'm gonna pour some more out, put it down to level it. And that looks close to 1 1/2. So that would be good for my recipe. So that's a good skill too, to learn how to take some out and put it back in. Lots of fun. I mean, I really truly think You can have so much STEAM fun in the kitchen, especially with cooking science. So the other thing I wanted to show you today is we talked a little bit about trying new foods in the beginning and being healthy for the new year. I love to try new foods. I want to encourage you all to try new foods, especially new fruits and vegetables. You might be just really surprised at what you like by just trying something. And this is something I did with my own children when they were little. We did a game to try new foods. And every night, if they tried a new food, they got another spot on their game board. So I'm going to show you how to draw one of those. I'm just going to draw like it's just going to be a curve shape, kind of like an S or a snake, like that with a black pen. You can use whatever color pen you have and whatever color piece of paper you have. I happen to have red and I happen to have a black marker. And then what you want to do is you just want to do a second curve like so. It does not need to be perfect. It looks like a snake, doesn't it? I could put a little smiley face on it, it would be a snake. So, and what you want to do is you just want to draw lines. It doesn't need to be perfect. It can be messy. I'm going to show you. You're just going to draw lines like that, okay? And I'm going to show you the one that I did last night so you can see it completed. So this is my food game. I did a start and a finish. You could draw this at home very simply. And what we did with these is we put them on our refrigerator. So right here, just put it on our refrigerator, kind of put it lower when they were littler. And every time they tried a new food, they came to the refrigerator with a crown and they just colored in a square like that, okay? So every time they just went down and they colored them like that, okay? And when they got to the finish, we just had like a little, I can't remember what we did, like maybe a special time with a grown-up, or you just ask your grown-up and see what they maybe want to do, or maybe when you finish it, you could have a family board night game or something that you like to do, just to encourage you to try to finish that game and try new foods. I know when I was a child, I also was a very picky eater and I didn't want to try anything new. I just basically wanted to eat pizza and hamburgers all the time, and it drove my mother crazy because she's actually a really good cook and she wanted me to try the things that she made. And slowly in life, I learned to try things and I was amazed at how many things that I went, yuck, and I said, I don't like that. And then when I tried them, I loved them. So try new things. You never know. Like I know I always yucked artichokes. I said artichokes were yucky when I was little. And I don't know why I did that because I never actually had tried one. And when I started trying them, I love them. Same with spinach. Spinach is one of my favorite things to eat, and spinach and artichokes together, yum, so good. So, challenge yourself to try some new foods this year and be a little healthier, especially those fruits and vegetables. I encourage you. Hopefully the library will open up sometime in 2021 and you can come tell me all the new foods that you tried when you visit the Glenwood branch. So last but not least, I do have some book suggestions for you. There should be a longer list for your grown-up to see online, but for today, I just want to show you a couple of my favorites. So speaking of picky eaters and not wanting to try new things, this is one of my absolute favorite books about that topic. It's called Little Pea, and it's by Amy Krouse Rosenthal, and it's illustrated by Jen Qureshi. And this is about Little Pea. Little Pea doesn't like candy at all. But candy is what peas eat every single night. So you can imagine. So let me just show you one page of this cute, cute book. So fun. Look at all that candy that Little Pea has to eat and different colors of candy each night of the week. Parents and grown-ups are going to love this book because it's going to sound really familiar. Children, you're just gonna get a laugh about Little Pea and how he acts when he has to eat candy. So that's Little Pea. Next is a brand new book. I actually pulled this off of our new bookshelf just because I too really liked pizza when I was little, and so do my children. And this is called Every Night is Pizza Night. And it's by J. Kenji Lopez Alt, and it's illustrated by Gianna Ruggiero. And this is a child in this book who wants to eat pizza every single night for dinner. And I think it's his parents are really tired of eating pizza and making pizza every night. So the parents send this child off on a challenge to visit their neighbors and friends and find out what their neighbors and friends think is the best food, because this child thinks pizza is the best food. But she finds out that there's lots of different best foods. And guess what? She tries some of those foods that her neighbors and her friends are making, and she discovers they're really good too. So I'm going to show you this picture. And one thing I really love about this book is it shows different types of food for different cultures and introduces you to those. This one was chicken with apricots and tangine, her neighbor Farah is making. And yum, I just read about this and wanted to try it because it sounds really, really good. So that is Every Night is Pizza Night. Love it. Really fun new book. Next, I have another book that came out about a year ago. This is actually in the cookbook section of the adult section, the nonfiction at the library, but certainly cookbooks can be used by anybody. But this is called The Adventurous Eaters Club by Misha and Vicki Collins. And it's Mastering the Art of Family Mealtime. I kind of put this in here for the grown-ups as well as the children. This is a really wonderful new cookbook that both of you can use together. It includes recipes for tasty and fun food. I haven't tried any recipes of this book, but I would really like to. And it really just looks like a great, great book for families to enjoy and to encourage healthy eating. So I do want to show you a couple of pictures. It has great pictures. I always love when a cookbook shows pictures of each recipe, how it's supposed to look when it turns out. It's always helpful for me when I make something. But you can see they're having like a yogurt parfait with fresh fruit and yogurt, and there's even a recipe for homemade granola. I know this is a favorite treat of one of my children, and it's just so pretty when it turns out, and it's super easy to make. So there's that. Get that a little closer. So, and then this is another page that I just thought was stunning in this book too that I want to show you. Yeah, lots of great tips in this book along with the recipes. So this is a half rainbow slaw. So this is kind of like coleslaw, but it's all the different colors of slaw, and they made it into a little rainbow. So I thought that was so fun and so cute and just looks delicious. So that would be a great way to try some new vegetables and different colored vegetables as well. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you all have a great, great start to your new year. Thank you for visiting us today on our virtual class. We'll be having another class, I believe, in 2 weeks. Have your grown-up go to our website, which is hclibrary.org, and they can sign you up for the next class. So thank you so much. It was great seeing you. You all have a great day and have fun in the kitchen measuring and eating your healthy foods. I think I'm going to go and enjoy these ants on a log, put my raisins on it and count them and enjoy a snack. So have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.